know what's scarier than getting your heart broken? Finding out years later that it never had to break in the first place, that the person you walked away from was actually reaching for you the whole time, and you just didn't look close enough. This is a 2023 Chinese film called Just for Meeting You, and honestly, it wrecked me. Not because of some dramatic tragedy, but because every single painful thing that happens in this story could have been avoided with one honest conversation. And that's exactly why it hits so hard, because we've all been there. So let me walk you through this one properly. Trust me, the ending will sit with you for days. Let's start where the damage starts, with a kid named Yang Yi. Yang Yi is obsessed with astronomy. He wants a telescope more than anything, but his father is that kind of parent, the kind who doesn't hand you things, he makes you earn them. So the deal is simple. Win the school's 10-kilometer race and the telescope is yours. Now here's the problem. Yang Yi isn't a runner. He knows he can't win this thing honestly, so he does something stupid. He hails a taxi, rides part of the route, jumps out near the finish line, and crosses first. He gets the win, he gets the glory, and for about 5 minutes he thinks he got away with it. But there's a girl in the story, Xiao Nianyan, and she saw everything. Now here's where most people expect the obvious. She tells on him, right? That's the assumption Yang Yi makes too, because when the teacher finds out about the cheating and strips him of the win, he doesn't stop to ask how. He doesn't investigate. He just points his anger directly at Nianyan. She saw him. She must have talked. But here's what actually happened. When Yang Yi jumped out of that taxi in a hurry, his student ID card slipped out and landed on a seat. The taxi driver, just a regular guy doing his job, found it and returned it to the school. That's how the truth came out. Not from Yan, not from anyone trying to hurt him. Yan actually stayed quiet. She kept his secret, and she got blamed for it anyway. And this, right here, this is the seed of everything that goes wrong between them. Not betrayal, not cruelty. Just a boy who needed someone to blame because looking at himself was too uncomfortable. He turned her into his villain, and she had no idea she'd been cast in that role. So Yang Yi decides to get even. And because he's a teenager with zero emotional tools, his version of revenge is petty. He takes Nianyan's purse and puts it on top of the blackboard, way too high for her to reach. She's short. She struggles. The class probably watches. And when the purse finally falls, something inside it breaks. A small pendant necklace. Now, if this were just jewelry, it would still be cruel, but it's not just jewelry. That pendant was the last gift Nianyan ever received from her father, her dad, the man who taught her how to shoot a basketball, how to play table tennis, how to stand tall even when the world felt heavy. He passed away from a sudden heart attack. Gone. No warning. No goodbye that felt like enough. And that pendant, that was her way of still carrying him with her every single day. So when Yang Yi knocked that purse down and that necklace shattered on the classroom floor, he didn't just break an object, he stepped on the one physical thing connecting her to the most important person she ever lost. And he had absolutely no idea. Yan doesn't scream. She doesn't make a scene. She just looks at him and tells him, quietly, firmly, that he went too far. And then she walks away, and he's left standing there in that silence, the kind of silence that should teach you something if you're paying attention. Now what happens next is kind of fascinating, because instead of drifting apart, these two do the opposite. They start making bets. Competitive, ridiculous high school pride bets. The terms, if Nianyan wins, Yang Yi has to wear a skirt during the morning exercise assembly, in front of the entire school. If Yang Yi wins, she has to chop her hair off. Real stakes. Teenage stakes. The kind where your dignity is the currency. And here's the thing about Nianyan. Her father didn't just love her, he trained her. Basketball, table tennis, athletics, this girl is a natural competitor. She wipes the floor with Yang Yi. Even when he twists his ankle mid-game and tries to push through, she still wins. But something interesting is happening underneath all the trash talk and competition, something neither of them is ready to name yet. Then comes the moment that changes everything. Yang Yi called into the teacher's office, and the truth finally surfaces. The teacher scolds him for cheating to win a race while returning his student ID. He asked, "Why do my IDs with you?" Then the teacher revealed that the taxi driver came all the way to school to return it. Here we know it wasn't Nianyan who reported the cheating, it was the taxi driver. He found the student ID on the back seat and simply returned it. That's how the teacher knew that Yang Yi cheated to win the race. Think about that from Yang Yi's perspective. Every mean thing he did, every cold look, every act of so-called revenge, all of it was aimed at a girl who never once sold him out. She took the blame silently. She absorbed his anger without correcting him, and she never used the truth as a weapon, even when it would have been the easiest thing in the world to throw it in his face. Now, Yang Yi, to his credit, does something that earns him a little bit of respect here. He honors the bet. He shows up to morning exercises wearing that skirt in front of everyone. He doesn't hide. He doesn't laugh it off like it's ironic. He just owns it quietly, fully. And that's when their dynamic shifts. Their English teacher pairs them up as study partners. Yin Yan jokes that Yang Yi spent a month living with an American family. The American would learn fluent Chinese before Yang Yi picked up a single English word. It's funny, it's sharp, and it gets under his skin in exactly the right way. He tells her, almost like a dare to himself, that if he actually tries, he'll outscore her. And for the first time in his academic life, he means it. But here's the thing nobody says out loud. He's not studying for the grade. He's studying for her, because somewhere between the arguments and the bets and the bruised ankles, he started caring about something much bigger than a telescope. He asks her a question one day, casually, almost too casually. If I score 120 marks on the exam, would you go to the same university as me? She says yes. And just like that, the rivalry has a new name. He just doesn't know how to say it yet. Entrance exams arrive, and Yang He does it. He hits the score he promised, 120, the impossible number. He earned it, but Yan Yan doesn't make her mark. Now here's where Yang Yi does something that sounds romantic on the surface, but is actually a slow-motion disaster. He refuses to go to university without her. He says if she's not going, he's not going either. It sounds like loyalty, it sounds like love, but Yan Yan sees it clearly. This isn't devotion, this is waste. He worked too hard, came too far, and is too talented to throw it away because of some misguided idea that love means standing still together. So she does something behind his back. She fills out his university application for him. She submits it without telling him. She makes the decision he won't make for himself. When he finds out, he goes to her house. In this scene, it's not loud, it's not dramatic, it's worse than that. It's two people standing on opposite sides of a door, both hurting, both stubborn, both convinced they're doing the right thing. He asks her one question before he leaves. Did you open the birthday card I gave you? She says yes. She closes the door and they go their separate ways. Just like that, no dramatic goodbye, no cinematic rain, just a door closing and years of silence beginning. Now fast forward, years later, Yan Yan is living her adult life. Quiet, routine. One evening, she's eating instant ramen with a friend in her apartment when the power cuts out. In the scramble to hide an unauthorized space heater before the building warden shows up, she knocks over a box of old things. And there it is, the birthday card, Yang Yi's card. She picks it up. She'd seen it before, or thought she had. There's a little drawing in the top right corner. She remembered that much. But this time, in the dim light, she looks closer. Tucked deeper inside, folded, hidden, waiting, is a letter, a confession letter she never saw. In that letter, Yang Yi wrote something that will genuinely make your chest tight. He told her how he felt, fully, honestly, no games, no code, just the truth. And then he wrote this: if you don't feel the same way, I won't force anything. I won't ask you to explain. I'll just walk away, quietly. He wasn't giving her a goodbye. He was giving her a choice, an exit with dignity. He was saying, I love you, but I love you enough to let you not love me back. And she never saw it, for years. She thought his silence after that day meant he'd moved on. He thought her silence meant she'd read it and chosen to let him go. Two people, both waiting for the other to speak, both interpreting silence as an answer, and both getting it completely wrong. This is the part of the movie that kept me up at night. Not because it's sad, although it is, but because it's so painfully recognizable. How many of us have lived inside the wrong version of a story? How many times have we decided what someone meant without actually asking them? How many relationships, friendships, romances, family bonds have quietly died because both sides were too proud, too scared, or too convinced they already knew the answer? Yang Yi and Yan Yan lost years, not to tragedy, not to distance, not to some impossible circumstance. They lost years to a letter that was folded too deep inside a card. That's it. That's the whole tragedy, a fold in a piece of paper. But this movie gives them something most real-life stories don't: a second chance. Yan Yan sends Yang Yi a message, simple, direct. She asks him to come watch a spaceship launch with her. He doesn't overthink it, he doesn't play it cool, he just shows up. And as they stand there together, watching this rocket break through the atmosphere, pushing past every layer of resistance between the Earth and the sky, Yan Yan finally says the words, the ones she's been holding since high school. She tells him she likes him. Not loved, not past tense, likes, present tense. Still, after all of it, the movie ends happily, and I'm glad it does. But what stays with you isn't the happy ending. What stays with you is the question it leaves behind. What cards have you been handed in your life that you didn't look at closely enough? What conversations did you skip because you thought you already knew what the other person was going to say? What stories are you living in right now about someone, about yourself, that might be completely wrong? Sometimes the most important thing someone ever says to you is hidden in a fold you didn't bother to open, and by the time you find it, years have already answered for you. If this story sat with you the way it sat with me, do me a small favor. Drop a comment and tell me, is there a movie you've watched where a single misunderstanding felt so real it almost hurt? I genuinely want to know. I read every single comment, and some of the best films I've covered on this channel came from your recommendations. And if you're new here, this is what we do. We don't just recap movies, we sit with them, we pull them apart, we figure out why they made us feel something. So if that sounds like your kind of thing, subscribe and stick around. I've got another one coming soon that I think might hit even harder than this one. I'll see you in the next one.